G'day everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. So with the AFL Draft kicking off next week, I thought it'd be a great time now to upload my 2023 AFL mock or Phantom Draft, whatever you do like to call it. I'll be going over the first two rounds in this Phantom Draft today, and obviously that being picks 1 to 36, but also including the bids. This draft today does have over 40 selections, so there's quite a bit to go over. So yeah, hopefully you're going to enjoy. Feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you do go on to enjoy. Plenty of fun doing this. So just another perspective added into the YouTube scene on how I think the draft will go, because I have to say there's been some awesome draft content by many creators across the YouTube scene. So yeah, thought I'd throw my hat into the ring as I always like to do each year. And just before we get into this Phantom Draft, everyone, this video won't contain any trades whatsoever. Some people like doing it, but I just like to keep it a bit more simpler and just a bit of a simplistic view on how I think each pick will go with no trades. So yeah, with that down pat, let's get into it. So we kick things off with this Phantom Draft with pick number 1. Pretty obvious one here. The Eagles will happily take Harley Reid with the first overall selection. Not only is this guy a powerful footballer and athlete, he's also just a very confident and just a bit of a swagger, or shows a bit of swagger with his character, which I think fits West Coast really well. They just need elite talent over there. And there's always been questions on how will he fare with the go-home factor or all that whatnot. But the Eagles, a very good club, I think, over there in the West with player retention. They've got a good culture over there, and I think they'll treat this guy really well. But, you know, just a powerful marking player forward of centre, can also do impact in that midfield. And, yeah, just the scoreboard impact, left, right and centre. I think this guy's going to be a serious player. Expect him to really get up and about in his first season. So, Harley Reid to the Eagles. Moving on to pick 2, North Melbourne on the clock here with their 2 selections in a row, and you'd feel like they will bid right away on Jed Walter, and of course the Suns will match that bid, so Walter heads off to the Suns for pick number 2. A really good footballer this guy is, explodes in the air so well, a big body, just beast. Of a tall forward, and you feel like should he be ready enough, which you'd think he will be, he could be a starter from round 1 in the Gold Coast Best 22. But yeah, just terrific athleticism, just really good overhead. You know, just a dominant player in their forward half. So Walter goes to the Suns for pick 2. So after the unsuccessful bid, North Melbourne go back into the draft with pick 3, and I have them taking 𝐓𝐿𝐴 from Tasmania. This guy is arguably the best balanced midfielder in the draft pool. Reminds me of just a faster version of Zach Merrett with that left boot. Accumulates the footy really well. Yeah, you know, he's got to get stronger and all that whatnot, but that will really develop as the years go by. But this guy could easily start off on a wing. Probably isn't the most needs-based pick, but he's definitely one of the best talents available in the draft with North Melbourne's selection here. But yeah, just a really hard-working midfielder that also can hit the scoreboard. So 𝐓𝐿𝐴 goes to North at pick 3. And then for pick 4, back-to-back here, Zane Duursma, Dan Curtin, take your pick. I've got North taking Dan Curtin just because I feel like they just need plays in their back half. Quite simple as that. I could definitely see him take Zane Duursma here. Probably not the most needs-based pick, but again, that's probably the best talent available. But Dan Curtin, he's what, 198 centimetres and 97 kilos. He is just simply a beast. He's also versatile. He's not necessarily a lockdown defender. He can also rebound from half back as a bit of a rebounding defender. He can also play stints in the midfield too. He can also swing forward. His foot skills are very good, and North just need a general back there in defence that can go really well by foot, and I feel like this guy is very capable of doing so. So Dan Curtin goes to North for pick 4. And then with pick 5, the Hawks will be pretty happy if this guy's still available. Zane Duursma goes to Hawthorn at pick 5, the boy from Vic Country. Really exciting talent. Love watching this guy play. Not only is he very good in the air, he's also just able to really change a game whenever he has ball in hand. Very clean and fluent mover as well whenever he does have possession as well, and can finish really nicely when having shots at goal. And I think in Hawthorn's setup, it would fit them perfectly. They just need that player that in that forward half that can really hit targets inside 50, but also execute well. So yeah, I think this will be a great selection for the Hawks, Zane Duursma. Western Bulldogs now on the clock with pick 6. They paid quite a premium to get to this selection here in the draft, so you feel like they've got to nail this pick here. And I have them taking Riley Sanders, the midfielder from Tasmania. They're a good chance to take Nick Watson as well, but I just like this guy's ability in the midfield, and I think when you look at the Bulldogs midfield, they could do with another young, elite, talented midfielder, because when you look at their midfield group, they're starting to get a little bit old now, mixed with a few players out of form, like Jack McRae, Bailey Smith, all that whatnot. I think a young, talented midfielder is just what they need, and he fits the mould of a typical Bulldogs midfielder, a clean play in and under, not necessarily a big-bodied mid, but he can accumulate the footy, and he's really clean in and under, and his contested game is quite good too, so I think it fits the Bulldogs quite nicely here. Riley Sanders to the Doggies. Pick number 7 now, the Demons are on the clock here, and I've got them bidding on Ethan Reid, which will be matched, of course, by the Gold Coast Suns. One of the best ruckmans, of course, in this draft pool, and he's just so athletically gifted. His 2K time trial was around, it was like 6:06 or something. It was a crazy number for a ruckman, and his follow-up work and his ability and his skills around the ground is also what makes him a great talent here. I think with his skills and all that, he can definitely be trialled around the ground, and not only a ruckman, but I think he could be trialled as a centre-half back for the Suns in their system. And it's a player that possesses so much upside, which is just an exciting selection and talent, I think, for the Gold Coast's future. So Ethan Reid, of course, going to the Suns for pick 7. So Melbourne go again at pick number 8 here, and I have them taking Connor O'Sullivan, the key defender from the Murray Bushrangers and the Allies. Like this pick here for Melbourne because you look at Stephen May, he's 32 now, so maybe starting to draft a bit for the future, get some fresh blood in the club with Connor O'Sullivan. Very good interceptor, one of the best key defenders in this draft pool. Can also rebound really well with his athletic and fast frame, loves to attack whenever he has ball in hand. He had a very good 2K time trial of around 6 minutes too, but yeah, very good interceptor too, so I think this really suits O'Sullivan and Melbourne's scheme. They really like their interceptors, so O'Sullivan to Melbourne. Now for pick 9, the Giants on the board. This is, of course, the pick from the Hopper deal, I'm pretty sure it was, from last year. So it's almost a free hit here with the Giants, given they were prelim finalists. But, of course, they do want to nail this pick. And, hey, I think they'll just take best available here. Nick Watson's still on the board, and I think they'll happily take him here. You look last year, they were keen on 𝐓𝐡𝐞 𝐎𝐥𝐝, failed to get them. They did get Bedford across. He's been a great player, but hey, adding in Nick Watson and that Giants forward half will be scarily good. Just a very talented player. His goal sense is remarkable. Short fella, but can really make an impact. And yeah, I think he could be a player that could definitely really shake up the competition early on. Who knows? But yeah, again, the Giants probably taking best available. The list is so balanced, but I think if Watson's available, they'll happily take him here at pick 9. And then the next pick, we have Geelong at pick 10, and I've got them selecting 𝐻𝐡𝐞, the tall forward from Vic Metro and the Northern Knights. It's a player that will probably take a little while to develop, probably one of those more higher upside plays, but will take a little while. But I think it's a selection that the Cats will really be keen on, because they were interested in Ollie Lord. They failed to get him in the trade period, and they've been rumoured that they have a strong interest in 𝐻𝐡𝐞, and I think it fits a need here, just adding some young talent into their forward half and their key position plays in that forward half of the ground. Jeremy Cameron getting older, Tom Hawkins getting older too, so you're bringing in a player like 𝐻𝐻𝐞 who has tremendous aerial ability, can really hit the scoreboard too. Got great speed on the lead as well. That's also another thing that I've really noticed when watching him. And of course, we all know the Cats are a very good side with play development, so if they get this right here with 𝐻𝐻𝐞, he could be a genuine superstar. So got him going to the Cats at pick 10. So pick 11 now, Essendon are on the clock, and I've got them bidding on Jordan Croft, which will be matched by the Western Bulldogs, the father-son talent for the Doggies, and he'll go at pick 11 here. Tall forward, 200 centimetres, really aggressive player, shows great athleticism, just a great player overhead too, and can hit the scoreboard well. So yeah, it's another a talented key position player coming the Bulldogs' way. They're absolutely stacked with him, but yeah, this is another great talent coming the Bulldogs' way via the father-son here. So Essendon shift down a selection here in the draft after the failed bid, and I have them taking Darcy Wilson, the midfielder from the Murray Bushrangers. Bit of a more of an outside player than an inside player, but that's what Essendon need, I think, just adding more talent into that midfield group. And he's a classy player, this guy. Can really hit up targets well, and just such a hard worker. Very athletic player. His combination of power and speed is a great one too. He did so well in the 20-metre sprint and 2K time trial, so I think that fits the Essendon mould really nicely. That could do with more plays like that. Evasive skills, great too. I've also then considered them taking James Leake or even Caleb Windsor, but I just think maybe Wilson could be the best out of the three and can fit them a little bit better just because of his power and his class. So then pick 13, Adelaide head into the draft here with their first selection, and I have them taking James Leake, the utility from Tasmania. Also consider them taking Caleb Windsor here, but I think Leake's versatility is what will really impress recruiters. I think he could go higher than this selection, but Adelaide would certainly be happy to take him. He's capable of playing the midfield, but he can also rebound from half back. Good frame at 187 centimeters too. He's a skillful player, great athleticism too, and can use the ball well, and can also play a bit of an outside rebounding type, which could, I think, fit the Crows quite nicely, just adding into some more young, talented depth with their exciting team. So I've got Leake heading to the Crows here. And then Melbourne are back on the clock here with pick 14, and I have them selecting Caleb Windsor, the midfielder from Vic Metro, a classy winger, and I think it would fit Melbourne nicely here. They can always do, I think, with some nice foot skills and some nice drive from the outside and from the midfield forward of centre, and Caleb Windsor certainly offers that. Evasive player, an accountable play too, I reckon. Shows great pressure and can really hit the scoreboard when he gets running. He's a fast player too, and can really make an impact, which I think could suit Melbourne nicely. So Windsor off to the Ds. And now the Sydney Swans are on the board here with pick number 15, and I have them bidding on Jake Rogers. Sydney always love a bid, so I might as well put it in here. But yeah, of course, Jake Rogers will be heading to the Suns. That bid will be matched by Gold Coast. He's only 170 centimetres, but when I watched the Under-18s Championships, he really did impress me. Competitiveness is really good. His work rate's nice as well. Can always improve on his endurance. That's probably a bit of a growth area for him. But his accumulation, his agility, his evasiveness, just such a clean player in and under. Could be a 𝐓𝐿𝐼 Neal type perhaps. But you'd think he could start forward for the Suns here, should he be best 22. But yeah, another great talented player coming Gold Coast way. Jake Rogers goes to the Suns at pick 15. So the Swans are back on the board here with pick 16 after the failed bid. They'll probably bid on someone again, just like last year, but jokes aside, I haven't actually taken a play here. I've got them taking Harry Di Matteo, the midfielder from the Dandenong Stingrays. Now, a bit of maybe a surprising selection here, a bit of a left field selection, but they always are unpredictable in these drafts, the Swans. But the reason why I've got them taking Di Matteo is, well, they don't necessarily need a midfielder, given that's where he predominantly plays, but his competitiveness is one, which I really like, which what the Swans really like when recruiting plays, and also his versatility. I think that's what sweetens the deal of why I have chosen him here. He can play lockdown defender role, he can also play as a forward, which I think will suit the Swans with just a bit of depth, because they don't really need players that are ready to play today with their list. And also his leadership and his character is a strong one, which really suits the Swans drafting philosophy. So yeah, Harry Di Matteo here to the Swannies. And now the Saints are on the board here in the draft with their first selection at pick 17. I've got them taking Colvin Tholstrup, the mid forward from WA. I think the Saints will be really keen on this guy, should he still be available. Was considering also maybe a small forward here, but Tholstrup probably best available. Yeah, just another one of those X-factor sort of mid forwards that can really change a game. Just what the Saints need. Just a bit more versatility in that midfield, not just the one-paced midfielders, which they probably have mostly in that midfield group. But yeah, he's great overhead as well. That's another substantial thing with him. He can show tremendous scoreboard impact and is a strong and powerful player too. So like this pick here for the Saints at pick 17. At selection 18 here, the Adelaide Crows back into the draft here, and I have them taking Charlie Edwards, the midfielder from Vic Metro. Bit of a bolter the last few months in this draft, it has to be said, but yeah, Edwards possesses great foot skills and is a really clean player, which I think will really tend to favour Adelaide here, should he still be available, because they could always do with those sort of midfielders, the clean plays, the great kicking forward to centre types. So yeah, I think Adelaide are a very good chance to take Charlie Edwards here, and I've got them taking him in this mock draft at pick 18. North Melbourne re-enter the draft here with pick 19, and I've got them bidding on South Australia talent 𝐓𝐿𝐼 He is, of course, tied to the Hawks via the father-son rule, so that will be matched, of course, by Hawthorn, so he goes to the Hawks at pick 19 here. He's 197 centimetres, he's a key defender that is very good in the air, that attacks the footy well, that can sprawl quite well too, but he's also great on the rebound, and that favourably really suits Hawthorn's style coming out of the back half. He loves to take the game on and also can almost play like a bit of a rebounding or third tall defender too. So yeah, 𝐓𝐿𝐼 going on the Hawks here at pick 19. So North Melbourne go again at pick 20, and I have them taking Ollie Murphy, the key defender from Vic Metro, one of the best key defenders in this draft class, or should I say probably one of the, or if not the best lockdown defender, given he's 200 centimeters, and he was a forward and a ruckman in his junior career, but in his draft year, he moved as a key defender and was just really good. Intercepting ability, really good in the air. Strong competitive play too, and a good player one-on-one as well. So, yeah, I think this suits North Melbourne nicely. They need more defenders in their back half. They've got Dan Curtin, a bit of a general, and then Ollie Murphy's that lockdown player. I really like this one for North. And, yeah, North Melbourne will take Ollie Murphy. So GWS are back into this draft at pick 21 here. Now, I had them taking a midfielder originally, but after shifting things around here, there isn't really too much to shout about. So I thought, given their list, they're in a great spot here, why not take the punt on Western Australian 𝐓𝐡𝐞 I think I pronounced that right. But yeah, this guy is an athletic beast with tremendous upside. Yes, he's still raw. His foot skills ain't too great, but his intercept marking is very good. He's versatile. He can also play in the ruck and also play forward. But yeah, his leap and his and also his speed is a remarkable thing as well. He had really good measurables in the draft combine. I think he's a player that can sit in the Giants' strong list and really develop nicely, and he can become an absolute star. So I think the Giants take the punt on him here at pick 21. North Melbourne now with their 2 selections in a row here. Pick 22, first off, got them taking 𝘬𝐼𝗙𝗪𝗓 from WA. Probably the best rebound defender in this draft class, potentially. Speed and accumulation, drive off half-back, he's got all of that. And again, they just need good foot skills from their back half, and this is what 𝘬𝐼𝗙𝗪𝗓 really possesses. And then with pick 23, I've got them taking a ruckman here as a bit of a, developmental type of Will Green. I don't know if Cherry is really going to be their guy, so I think them taking a ruckman is justified here, and Will Green is definitely one of the best prospects in this draft. Not only is his ruck skills very good, he's just a very crafty player. He's got great clean hands and uses the footy well, and a mobile player too around the ground, and can take some clunks around the ground, which, the modern ruckman needs to do, and I think Will Green does that nicely. So yeah, got North Melbourne taking those 2 selections at pick 22 and 23. So now the Premiers of Collingwood head into the draft here with their first selection at pick 24, and I have them selecting key forward Archer Reid from Vic Country. I think a lot of fans would be happy with this selection. They're still crying out for that superstar, that next star key forward, and could Archer Reid be the guy? He was highly ranked throughout this year, but sort of dropped off a little bit. But still, his marking forward of centre and his forward craft in general is really impressive. He's a clean player as well at ground level, which could suit Collingwood's style really nicely, because I like to whack those balls forward of centre inside 50 along the ground. And yeah, just a good player in terms of just his leading ability, and a mobile player too. So yeah, Archer Reid I've got going to the Pies here at pick 24. So pick 25 here, Adelaide Crows on the clock, and I have them taking Mitch Edwards, the ruckman from Western Australia. Now, a lot of people have them taking a ruck here. It definitely makes sense. They sort of probably want that next success to Riley O'Brien, and they want a really promising type, given there are a few rucks available here. Also, Taylor Goater's another one. He's a local boy from South Australia. He's a chance to go here, but maybe they want someone who's a little better in terms of ruck craft and a bit more ready to play, which I think Mitch Edwards shows a little bit more than Goat. But, they could take Goat here. It definitely is fair enough. But yeah, a good athletic player. He's a mobile player. His ruck craft is pretty good, and his follow-up work at ground level is another great thing too, which suits the modern-day ruckman. So yeah, got Mitch Edwards heading across to the Crows. So the Saints are back on the board here with pick 26, and I've got them taking Lance Collard, the general forward from Western Australia. Don't know if he will be available here in the real draft. You feel like North would probably get him here, or maybe he could be selected with the Saints' first selection. But yeah, one of the best small forwards in this draft after Nick Watson. He's a scarily talented player. I think he's not only a competitive player and his pressure is great, but people have been comparing him to the likes of 𝐕𝐸𝐴 just with his clean skills at ground level and his impact per touch. So I think, again, the Saints could really bolster that general forward, that small forward area of their list. So Collard, I think, is a nice selection here. The Blue Baggers are now into this draft for their first selection at pick 27. I've got them taking 𝘬𝐼𝗙𝗪𝗓, the tall defender from Tasmania. Like this selection for the Blues just because he's a great player by foot and can rebound well, reads the game really nicely, and just with his size can make an impact on the intercept. And I think him in a Carlton side, he could be that next third tall kind of guy in defence, which could suit really nicely in the future alongside Jacob Wiedering and Brody Kemp, those likes. So yeah, 𝘬𝐼𝗙𝗪𝗓 to the Blues. So West Coast are back here with their second selection in this draft. Given where their list is at and where their team is at, probably just wanting to take best available here because they just needs all over the ground. I've got them taking Archie Roberts, the rebound defender from Vic Metro. Like this selection here for the Eagles. A good intercepting player, a clean player, classy player that goes by foot really nicely and loves to take the game on. He's got a great blend of speed and endurance. He measured quite well in those measurables in the combine, and yeah, just a good pick, a solid pick I think here for the Eagles. Probably sliding maybe a little bit, so yeah, I think the Eagles would love to snap him up here at pick 28. So now the Geelong Cats are back on the board here with pick 29, and I have them bidding on 𝐓𝐡𝐞 𝐎𝐥𝐿, and he is of course tied to the Swans via the Academy, the Swans Academy graduate, and of course the Swans will match the bid here for 𝐓𝐡𝐞 𝐎𝐿𝐥𝐿. He's a tough as nails inside midfielder. That's exactly what the Swans need, I think, in the long run, and another nice selection here to add into their midfield depth. He does lack a little bit of polish, so probably will take a bit of time, but he had some nice games in their VFL side last year. But yeah, I think he's overall pretty consistent player. When watching him in the under-18 championships, he's a good character. He trains hard too, so yeah, it's a good pick up here for Sydney. So yeah, him going at 29. So then Geelong move back one spot at pick 30 here, and I have them taking the big body midfielder of George Stevens. I mean that quite literally. He is a big body midfielder. He weighs over 100 kilograms, and that does come, of course, with a negative. Not really him being the fastest, but his strength and his power and his ability to extract the footy in and under is a remarkable one. It fits a big need, I think. Should they rate him, of course, like, you know, they have Jai Clark, Ted Closey, a few nice midfielders in there, but should they take him, it's going to be a quality player to add into that midfield group. He did train, of course, with Geelong across the spans of this year too, so it's sort of like a linking selection here, but yeah, Stevens, I think he could be a quality player here for the Cats, and I've got him going to Geelong at pick 30. So pick 31 here, the Blues are back on the board, and might as well put in the bid here for Will Graham, which will be matched by the Suns. So Will Graham to Gold Coast for pick 31. Probably one of the more under the radar plays in this draft, given just because he's only guaranteed to go to one club, which usually tends to not really get much media hype. But this is a really good footballer when watching him play. His athleticism and his speed and his power is something that really noticed me when watching him, and also his competitors in and under was a great thing too. Can also rebound nicely from half back and pick apart targets nicely when having ball in hand, and you feel like he could probably start as a defender in Gold Coast's lineup, given they have a bit of a stacked midfield now. But yeah, Will Graham to the Suns for pick 31. So the Blues go again with pick 32, and I have them taking Cooper Simpson, the midfielder from Vic Country. Really like this selection for the Blues because I feel like that midfield depth, they could always improve, and this is a player that has a point of difference. His explosiveness out of the stoppage is a really good thing to see. They lost Paddy Dow in the trade period, so it's sort of replaced that, but probably a player with a bit better foot skills too. His evasiveness is a really good thing as well, and yeah, just his scoreboard impact is a great thing to watch. He's one of the more underrated prospects in this draft, so he could go quite early. So yeah, a bit of a bolter here. Got the Blues taking Cooper Simpson at pick 32. So Richmond are in the draft now of their first selection at pick 33. I've got them taking Logan Morris, the key forward from Vic Metro, and competitive tall forward that can really have an impact in the air, and also shows really good work rate and pressure and tackling ability, which does fit Richmond's scheme. And yeah, they could always go with a young key forward, which does fit their needs. So yeah, Logan Morris off to the Tigers. Another first selection club in the draft here, back-to-back, the Brisbane Lions. At pick 34, I've got them taking Jack Deline from South Australia, the general forward. Now, there's a few other general forwards I could go with, whoever maybe they rate the highest. Colin Sanchez and Phoenix Goffard had chances here, but the reason why I've got them taking Deline is just because I feel like his goal sense and just his footy IQ is somewhat what really impressed me, and I feel like that's the plays that the Lions like in their forward half, the plays that can really hit the scoreboard nicely and can also pick apart targets nicely with some good kicks inside 50, and that's certainly what Jack Deline does offer, and really good in the air, really good in the air, which you know, the Lions love to transition the footy well, so because of that I feel like it fits the Lions nicely here with Jack Deline going at pick 34. So with pick 35 here, Essendon back on the clock. I've got them taking Tyler Goad, the ruckman from South Australia, doesn't really fit a need short term, given they just got Todd Goldstein via trade, and of course I've got Nick Bryan, another young ruckman, but this is an 18-year-old with really good athleticism and upside, and I feel like Essendon would definitely want to take a punt here, improving the key position stocks, especially the younger ones, and yeah, just great athleticism. Follow-up work is really good. Does need to improve his ruck craft and does lack a bit of polish, but yeah, one to develop. I think 𝐴𝐥𝐝 could be the guy for the Dons at pick 35. At pick 36 now, Collingwood back with their second selection. I've got them taking 𝐴𝐿𝐿𝐿 or 𝐴𝐿𝐿𝐿, however you want to say it. The sort of general defender or tallish defender, you could say, a bit of a blend of both from Vic Metro, given that he is 188 centimetres with a great vertical leap and really good intercepting skills and goes by foot really nicely. I think this just fits Collingwood so well with how they play in defence. I like those interceptors that can run, that can go by foot nicely, and this is definitely what 𝐴𝐿𝐿𝐿 possesses, and they could probably do with the, some more younger third talls, given Jeremy Howell's getting old and all that whatnot. So yeah, I like this selection here for the Pies. 𝐴𝐿𝐿𝐿 to Collingwood at pick 36. So with pick 37, Fremantle enter the draft for their first selection. I have them taking Cohen Sanchez, the general forward from WA. So a local boy here. They're a good chance to maybe take someone like a Phoenix Gothard too, but I've preferred Sanchez just because maybe they prefer the local boy, and also he's a bit more of that quicker, rapid player, similar to someone like a Michael Walters, given they need a bit of a successor to them. They lost Lachie Schultz, so a small forward is a big need, and this is definitely a good option here for Sanchez. Not only is he a fast player, he's consistent, and his footy IQ is smart. He just uses the footy really nicely forward to centre and can definitely cause some impact on the scoreboard, and pressure is really good too. They like those pressure forwards, the Dockers, so yeah, got Sanchez going to Fremantle. So now Essendon re-enter the draft here with pick 38, and well, this guy's still on the board. I feel like this will be a nice pickup here for Essendon. It's Ashton Moir. Now, this is a player that has high risk when selecting him, when a club selects him, just because there's just been doubts on his competitiveness and his sort of bruise-free application on how he plays, but he's probably one of the more naturally gifted players in this draft class. He's just a really, really classy player. He finishes his opportunities really nicely when he's on, and I feel like Essendon can add a bit more depth into that forward half, add a bit of competition there with a few numbers, and you know, if Moir can really get going at a football club, I think Essendon are definitely a chance to have a punt on him here. So West Coast now with pick 39, I have them taking Joel Freger, the winger from Vic Country. Like this pickup for West Coast because it does improve a bit of a need of a bit of outside run in that midfield group. They've got a good young core of inside mids now. They've got, of course, Jai Kelly and Ruben Gimby, and obviously now should they take Harley Reid, some good powerful inside players that can improve that outside game, I think, and this is definitely what Freger provides. He's a clean, he's a fast, evasive player with great outside skill, can also play a little bit on the inside game, but you know, his vision and his decision making is definitely another impressive thing, so I think this would be a nice fit for the Eagles at pick 39. Selection 40 now, the Brisbane Lions back on the clock, and I have them taking Will Dawson, the utility from Vic Country. You look at Brisbane's key position stocks, it's pretty bare. I know they, of course, brought over Brandon Ryan, but they did lose, of course, Tom Fullerton. But yeah, just having a young utility, sort of 200 centimetre guy. He's only 86 kilograms, but you're selecting a player like Will Dawson to a team that is very successful. They don't really need a ready-to-play player sort of guy. I think Dawson can sit, can develop, and can be a really good player because he has tremendous upside. Just how he plucks marks in the air and the ground. He can play defence, he can play forward, can also just do some pinch hitting the ruck. I think this suits the Brisbane Lions really nicely, and I think they'd be happy to select him here at pick 40. Will Dawson to the Lions. So pick 41 now, the Saints re-enter the draft, and I have them taking Harvey Johnston, the mid-forward from Vic Metro. Another Sandringham Dragons boy. They like taking those the last few years. Of course, Mitch Owens was from there too. But yeah, a player that just, again, another sort of point of difference mid-forward. That is evasive, that is clean. Great play, grand level too, and his work rate's another really good one, which I think could suit the Saints really nicely too. And kicking forward to centre can really make the ball talk with his scoreboard impact as well. So yeah, I think I like this selection here for the Saints, just adding to that midfield mix. So yeah, Harvey Johnston to the Saints at pick 41. And now for the final selection in this mock draft, Richmond step up to the podium here and take Phoenix 𝐓𝐡𝐞, the small forward from the Murray Bushrangers. Had them taking a tour earlier in the draft, so I feel like them taking a small forward here is definitely justified. But an athletic player that is creative, shows some really good skills forward of centre, and yeah, just an area where I feel like the Tigers could really do with just a crafty little small forward. So that's what 𝐓𝐡𝐞 definitely provides, and does show really good defensive intent too, which is definitely what Richmond do like, those small forwards that can really hunt. So yeah, 𝐓𝐡𝐞 to the Tigers at pick 42. So everyone, there is my 2023 AFL Phantom Draft for the first 2 rounds. Of course, that's being picks 1 to 36, but because of all the bids, it is expanding out all the way to pick 42. But yeah, always enjoy doing the draft content here and then, always really do get around it. And as I said earlier in this video, I just like to, sort of give my thoughts and give my 2 cents on how I think the draft could unfurl. Another opinion added into the many awesome content we've been seeing from many creators across this YouTube platform. So make sure to comment down below and let me know what you did think of my mock draft. Would you change a few selections? Of course, all this stuff is pretty opinionated, but yeah, I do like to, have a chat with each selection and sort of justify my reasoning on why a club would take a player X and all that whatnot. But yeah, hopefully you did enjoy, everyone. Always a bit of a lengthy video, but really did enjoy making this one. So feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you did go on to enjoy. And apart from that, I will talk to you later. See you later, folks.